Okay, day 3. So, as I'm making these videos now, we're just approaching the eclipse season. It's about 4 or 5 days before the eclipse. So this is day 3. If you're starting this series at another time, which most people will be, or everyone, uh, you might want to try and start the actual process of these videos about a week before the eclipse season, because that will fit in with how I've made the videos. Okay, so how these things are going to work, just because it's quite important now, these first few videos, to get a good perspective on where things are going to go, so that you can fit in your mind, you having a good idea, like a map. I'm basically trying to create a map for you of how these next 80 or 120 days are going to go, so that your subconscious and your conscious can all start getting prepared and attuned and aligned with each other and stuff, so that you feel confident about putting one foot in front of another and stuff like that. So what we're doing, one aspect of what I'm doing here with these each day, is that every 10 days, or 20 days, say, what's going to happen is you're going to start, each day is going to be like a sphere on the tree of life. So we're starting off at the first sphere, the top of the tree. We're working our way down to the bottom of the tree. That's going to take 10 days. Then we're going to restart from the bottom and go back up to the top. Again, that'll be another 10 days. So and then after 30 days, you'll finish on the physical plane, like the bottom of the tree. So you'd have started at the top of the tree, gone down in 10 days, up again in 10 days, and down again in 10 days, so that you finish on the physical plane. You start on the spiritual plane, you go down to the physical plane in 10 days, up to the spiritual plane again, and back down to the physical plane, and that's the end of the 30-day period. And then we start the going into the next phase, which will be the emotional or astral phase. So the next day after that, you'll be starting a new phase, where you move up from the physical plane into the astral plane. So that day 31 or 32, I think it will be 32, which is really interesting, because that will correspond to the 32nd path on the Tree of Life, which is the path that moves from the physical plane to the astral plane. So this is all going to fit, on that 32nd day. That will fit precisely. I think is it the 32nd, or it might be the 31st day. I think it's the 31st. But even so, it's still the 31st path is a path that goes from the physical plane to the astral plane, which is basically what we're going to be doing on that day anyway. Okay, so that's what some of the perspective that we need to get in today. The other things we need to do is start getting involved in diet. I really strongly recommend very good quality butter, and it's got to be grass-fed butter, right? Grass-fed butter, you want to have it every day. I recommend actually making ghee. There's videos, you can easily find out how to make ghee. There's quite a few different ways of doing it. But basically, you just put the butter in a pan and put it on a low heat and boil it until all the liquid is boiled away, and you're left with oil. And you get the solids forming at the bottom of the pan, and the clear butter oil you can just pour off when it cools down a little bit. Pour it into a jar, and then it will keep for months or years like that, and not go off. And it's got all the good quality, the really beneficial oil-soluble vitamins that you really need. And also combine that, if you can, ideally, with a really good source of oily fish or fish oil. Now, I recommend Atlantic smoked mackerel, because it hasn't been cooked, and I think you've got a certain amount of enzymes in there still, and the quality of the meats tend to be really good. Or Atlantic sardines. Um, yeah, tin sardines are okay. I mean, if you can get frozen sardines, sometimes they are quite good quality, so you know they can be worthwhile. Even though I don't recommend frozen food, but you can actually get really good quality frozen sardines. So have a look around. Otherwise, get a good quality fish oil to combine with the butter oil. Those most people haven't got the proper oil soluble vitamins, and they're really important. And so that, and also some beef liver, a little bit of beef liver. If you've got a freezer, get some beef liver, cut it up into small portions, and just freeze it in portions, and have it once or twice a week. You know, and that's also going to make it. Those two things, as well as eating lots of fruit and vegetables, and making sure that you're not drinking tap water. If you have to drink tap water and there's nothing, you haven't got any other options, then try to include as many water-rich foods like fruit and vegetables in your diet, so that the amount of water that you drink is minimal. Try and get some raw milk that you can maybe make into yogurt or something and consume that instead of normal tap water. Do anything you can, basically. I wouldn't recommend fruit juices too much, but if you can juice your own vegetables or eat vegetables, you know, that have been steamed, you know, so that they've got a lot of water in them, so that you don't need to drink water, you know, and you can avoid drinking tap water. That's what you want to avoid tap water at all costs if you possibly can. And ideally, go back before you start these videos and go at least 6 months of no tap water and a year of no television before you start these videos, because those two things will also really help. And another thing, find a little bit about feng shui and just your general dietary requirements. That you find out about the 90 nutrients that your body needs on a regular basis. Okay, that should take at least 40 minutes.